Welcome back to WWH. My name is Andrew Dreamer, and today we are checking into the fear-inducing world of Vacancy, released in 2007. This Hitchcockian nightmare is a match made in horror heaven, and we're going to break down all of the moves, holds, and jaw-dropping moments of this film. Vacancy was directed by Nimród Antal and takes you on a roller coaster ride through a dilapidated motel where danger lurks behind every door. Starring Luke Wilson and Kate Beckinsale, our leading duo finds themselves in a cinematic tag team facing off against the unexpected. The couple, whose road trip takes a sinister turn, finds themselves trapped in a nightmarish web of secrets and danger. If you can't tell, I really like this movie, and at one point I even started writing a script for a remake, but I decided I like this one too much to change it enough to warrant a remake. Not that it would have ever gotten made either, I just like writing screenplays in my spare time. But let's not stand on ceremony here, Mr. Wayne. It's time to head down to the ring. On their way home from a contentious family gathering, David and Amy Fox, teetering on the brink of divorce, find themselves navigating a desolate mountain road due to a wreck causing a bottleneck on the interstate. The couple's car, plagued by some not-so-good-sounding noises, prompts them to pull into an old auto repair garage for a quick fix. A seemingly helpful mechanic addresses the issue, assuring them it's resolved, but mentions they barely caught him before closing time.
Yeah, it got to me right before I headed out.
Oh, sorry.
Unfortunately, their respite is short-lived. Just moments after leaving the garage, their car grinds to a halt. Stranded in an area with no cell phone reception, the couple treks back to the now-shuttered garage, discovering their only lifeline has closed for the night. Faced with limited options, they decide to stay at the motel next door. Upon reaching the motel's reception office, the tension heightens as a blood-curdling scream echoes from a room at the back, only to reveal it's emanating from a television. The motel manager, Mason, steps in, shutting off the unsettling noise and extending a welcome to the distressed couple.
Things get a little boring around here late nights.
I believe that.
Mason says that the garage won't be open until morning, compelling David and Amy to reluctantly book a room for the night. Little do they know, their decision to stay will plunge them into a nightmare like they never could have imagined. As David and Amy prepare to retire for the night, a jarring disturbance disrupts their tranquility. The incessant banging echoes not only on their door, but also from the neighboring room. Angered by the relentless noise, David decides to alert Mason, the motel manager, to the disturbing commotion. To his disbelief, Mason reveals that they are the sole occupants of the motel, leaving the source of the noise a complete mystery.
It's very strange, seeing as you folks are the only guests I got in here tonight.
Returning to their room, feeling the issue is resolved, David stumbles upon an enigmatic videotape left in the room's VCR. Initially appearing to be a run-of-the-mill horror movie, the couple's horror deepens as they realize that it is, in fact, a snuff film recorded within the confines of their own room. By the way, don't miss a single bone-crushing upload. Hit that subscribe button, unleash the horrors, and become a member of the WWH Universe. We're not just wrestling with horror, we're delivering it to your screen every week. A chilling revelation unfolds as David conducts a thorough search, uncovering a series of concealed security cameras strategically positioned throughout their living space. The horrifying truth dawns on him. Mason, their supposed host, has been clandestinely surveilling their every move.
He was never going to help us. He was part of it.
As David and Amy delve deeper into the footage, a nightmarish spectacle unfolds. Previous unsuspecting guests fall victim to merciless assaults by two shadowy figures, their fate sealed with brutal acts of murder, all captured by the hidden cameras. The couple now finds themselves entangled in a web of terror, trapped within the confines of the motel. Fleeing from the ominous room into the dense woods, David and Amy's escape is abruptly halted by the appearance of the two masked men. Forced to retreat, they hastily return to their room and secure the door in a desperate bid for safety. Inside the bathroom, a disturbing discovery awaits them. A half-eaten apple Amy had left in the car earlier.
Didn't you bring that in from the car? No, I bled all over it, remember? I wouldn't have brought it. I left it in the car.
In a race against time, David rushes to the motel's payphone, hoping to summon help by dialing 911. To his dismay, Mason answers on the other end, revealing the pervasive control he holds over their desperate situation.
And you shouldn't be wandering around in the dark by yourself.
Narrowly evading danger, David escapes the phone booth just moments before the masked men crashed a car into it, relentlessly pursuing him back to the room. As tension reaches a fever pitch, a glimmer of hope emerges when David and Amy hear the distant rumble of a truck pulling into the parking lot. Eagerly attempting to attract the driver's attention from their window, their relief turns to dread as they realize the newcomer is colluding with Mason to buy the snuff films. What a creep.
Wasn't sure you were gonna make it.
You got them all?
Oh yeah.
The couple's sense of entrapment deepens when they uncover a concealed trapdoor in the bathroom, unveiling a network of tunnels connecting various rooms throughout the motel. Their harrowing journey leads them to the manager's office, where a desperate attempt to call the police is abruptly interrupted by the sinister Mason.
Well, they're out there somewhere.
Ma'am? Hello? I need your name and location, ma'am. Ma'am?
Pursued by the menacing masked assailants, David and Amy stealthily retrace their steps through the tunnel network, opting for an alternative path that ultimately leads them to the garage. Then, a sheriff arrives on the scene, responding to the earlier attempted call made by Amy. His investigation takes a horrifying turn as he stumbles upon a room containing the disturbing films, prompting him to hastily return to his car in shock. Seeking refuge with the arriving sheriff, David and Amy's attempt to escape is thwarted when they discover the police car's engine wires have been cut. The masked assailants mercilessly ambush the officer, extinguishing any hope for outside assistance. In yet another desperate bid for survival, David and Amy retreat into one of the rooms. David decides to shield Amy from the impending danger by hiding her in the ceiling tiles. Meanwhile, he formulates a daring plan to retrieve a revolver from Mason's office. However, the attackers ruthlessly intervene, stabbing David as he makes his way out of the room. Collapsing under the brutal assault, David's fate hangs in the balance while Amy watches helplessly from her hidden vantage point. The morning light reveals an anxious Amy descending from her hiding place. As she makes her way out, a startling discovery awaits her. Their car, now fixed for real. Attempting to flee this nightmare, she's confronted by a masked man who forcefully breaks into the car through the sunroof. During the struggle, Amy loses control of the vehicle, crashing it into the motel and inadvertently ending the lives of both masked men. Shockingly, one of them is unmasked, revealing him to be the mechanic who had ostensibly helped the couple earlier. Amy rushes to the motel office looking for any sort of defense. To her relief, she discovers a revolver. However, her respite is short-lived as Mason, the malevolent motel manager, emerges from the shadows. A brutal confrontation ensues as Mason, armed with a telephone cord, begins to strangle Amy, all while recording the heinous acts with his video camera.
Should have killed you last night. That's what I should have done.
Amy summons her inner strength and fights back against her assailant. The struggle reaches its climax as she manages to gain the upper hand, ultimately turning the tables on Mason. In a moment of self-defense, Amy, wielding the revolver, delivers a fatal shot, silencing the sadistic Mason and bringing a brutal end to this harrowing ordeal. Rejoining David, a relieved Amy discovers he has managed to survive the violent encounter. She rushes back to the office, retrieving the phone cord from Mason's pocket to make one more call to 911 for help. Returning to David's side, Amy offers comfort and solace as they anxiously await the arrival of the police as the film ends. Look, if nothing else, this movie is effective. And personally, I think effective is a good barometer to use when it comes to film. And per usual, we'll look at the positives and the negatives, but first we have to take a short break. Stick around for more WWH action. If you're looking to save 20% off of your order from Redcon 1, I have a deal for you. All you have to do is type in code AndrewDreamer12 at checkout and you will receive 20% off your order. Check it out. Head over to ProWrestlingTees.com/AndrewDreamer to check out some of my merchandise. There are a few different designs, so make sure you go check those out. And finally, head over to Patreon to consider becoming a member of the WWH Universe. There are a lot of really cool perks and we would love to have you. We're back, and it's almost time to check out, but let's head back down to the ring for the positives. Like I already mentioned, this movie is effective. I mean, this movie will make you never want to check into another motel. To this day, I can't stay at one without thinking of Vacancy and wondering if somebody is watching me on cameras. It's actually a real inconvenience. Vacancy effectively builds and maintains tension throughout the film. The isolated setting of the motel and the unknown threat lurking all around contribute to a palpable sense of suspense. To me, this film really does feel like something Alfred Hitchcock would have made. Now, I'm not saying that it's on the same level, but the concept is unique and offers something with a lot of layers to it. Luke Wilson and Kate Beckinsale deliver convincing performances as a couple facing a terrifying ordeal. Their chemistry and believable reactions enhance the overall effectiveness of the narrative. The choice of an isolated motel as the primary setting is a clever move, maximizing the sense of isolation and vulnerability. The limited space creates a claustrophobic atmosphere, intensifying the overall feeling of dread. But now let's look at some of the negative aspects of Vacancy. Some elements of the plot are a bit predictable. Certain plot developments follow genre conventions, making the storyline a little less surprising at times. And while the main characters are well performed, there is limited exploration of their backgrounds and motivations. More in-depth character developments could have added complexity and depth to the narrative. And while the concept is unique, the execution in certain moments definitely feels somewhat derivative of other films, and it's things like this that hold Vacancy back from being on the level of something Hitchcock would have made. There was a lot of potential here, and I feel like a few tweaks and changes here and there could have gone a very long way. But that is going to wrap up my review of Vacancy. Let me know what you think about this movie in the comments down below, and also let me know if you have any other movies you would like for me to cover here on the channel. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more coming your way very soon. But until then, my name is Andrew Dreamer, and this is Wrestling with Horror.